On this episode, we're going to get into a topic that can be quite difficult for many to understand, something deeper than surface level, a concept kids will have a hard time grasping until something tragic or life-changing happens to them. We're talking about the bigger picture here. If you're looking at a picture frame, what is it that you see in your picture frame that is the most important in your life? This may get emotional, but it's realistic. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Hey, so let's fire it up.
This is the Dark Side of the Mask podcast, a Goalies Matter production. This podcast will give you an inside look behind the mask, both the physical one worn by goalies and the emotional one we use to hide our burdens we carry. We'll address the issues affecting goalies' mental health and help you see the light. We want you to know that you are not alone in this fight. So let's fight this battle together.
Welcome to the Dark Side of the Mask podcast. I'm your host, Coach Giggs, and today we're going to discuss the bigger picture. This isn't a topic most kids tend to think about at their age until either a tragic event occurs in their life or something that changes their future expectations in the sport they love. We're talking about the bigger picture today and how it frames your perception on life and the choices that you make. If kids only knew the importance of the bigger picture, then maybe we wouldn't see as many kids struggling with their mental health. It's when we start to give a shit about what other people think is when we start to stress. And then anxiety sets in. And then when this happens, we feel like we have failed to live up to society's expectations of us. And then, and only then, do we move into the darkest stage of our life, depression. But before we get into the bigger picture, we need to define what the bigger picture means. And by definition, and yes, I've looked this up on the Google, the ability to step back and view a situation or life as a whole rather than focusing on individual details. Let me stress that again. You step back and you view a situation or a life as a whole. For those who know me, I talk a lot about viewing life, viewing situations from certain levels. Right? If I went up a telephone pole, I can see so much of the ground. But if I looked at it from a 30,000 foot level, like up in an airplane, things look very minor, very small, but very vast at the same time. You can see a lot more, but you're not looking at who has pools and who has a basketball rim in their driveway or a lacrosse net in their backyard. No, you just see a bunch of houses from up top. Maybe some pools, maybe some large parks, but you don't see the finer things. When you're on top of a telephone pole, you can see the grass blades, you can see what's brown, you can see the gravel. It's just different perspectives of what you see in the current moment and what is important to you. So let's take this definition and let's apply this to your own life, whether it be personally, spiritually, athletically, or all three of them combined. Being a goalie coach, I talk all the time how overall goalies are basically the same kind of person. A little quirky, a little weird, but mostly crazy, and that's okay. However, in the end, no two goalies are the exact same. We play different, we look different, and we believe in different things. It's what separates us across the board is what's important to us. We're all different individuals. We're all different humans, but we're all people. For kids, they're funny. They may care more about their perception in society or how they look or play on the field. Maybe their faith is important to them. Maybe friends rank high on their list. But kids see things from an ant perspective. Small in nature, navigating this huge world that we live in. I tend to think of this as a couple of movies that y'all may have seen. A Bug's Life, or for my generation, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Both great movies, but both provide you a perspective from a small fish, big pond concept. We all see and perceive things differently, but it's when we have a life-changing moment or a tragic event in our life, do we then step back and refocus and address what's more important in our lives. Let's look at the contributing factors that kids care so much about that tend to drive the anxiety and stress through the roof. So I got my list today. Number 1, friends' perception of them. They actually care what other people think of them. And maybe that's really important to them. You know, I have two middle schoolers right now. One doesn't care so much. The other one kind of does. And she's going to be entering high school next year. That's scary, I know. But sometimes at one point, she was actually worried about what people thought of her. And she had that same idea for 3 years straight, going into 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. What are people going to think of her? And I told her, I don't give a shit. You shouldn't care either. Nobody cares what they think of you, okay? Just be a good human, a good person, and be friendly and spread those kind vibes. Don't worry about what other people think of you. And you're all going to say right now, easier said than done, because if you have middle schoolers, you know this. But that also has a lot to do with my next point, social media presence. So are you the popular kids in school? And what makes you popular? The fact that you have 10,000 likes on a post and your friend over here only has 10 likes on a post? Or how many posts do you make? 96? 300? The ones that boggle my mind are when I go onto Instagram and I'll see, you know, whoever, I'll pick a goalie out or whatever, you know, and I'll see they have 20,000 followers, but only made 15 posts. How is that possible? You know? And then you see others that have 300 posts and have half of that, half the followers. And if you don't have so many likes or you have so many followers, then you're not cool. That can wear on your mental health. It's what apparently you give a shit about. Again, going back to, you know, what people think of you in school, now you're worried about what people think of you on the internet. I don't give a shit about what people think about me on the internet, right? I'm going to put stuff out there because back in the day when you had to market things, you actually had to pay for flyers and things like that, pay for radio ads, TV, magazines, whatever. Well, now you have social media and you don't have to pay for anything and you can throw it out there relatively free and get what you want out of it. So yes, am I on social media? I am, yes, because it's free advertising. But I don't really care so much like kids do. So that's my number 2 factor. The third kind of goes back to what I just talked about, is the number of likes on social media. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, if the kids are still using it, TikTok. I get it. It's kind of funny. Tracking kids, former students, they have TikTok. They got these, you know, videos out there. And it's so funny. Once they graduate college, their social posts go down drastically. Why? Because they've entered the real world. They don't have pointless, useless time on their hands to make crazy, stupid, dancing viral videos. I mean, kids have spare time on their hands. I get that. Less responsibility when they're young. So they have time to make all these posts. But that also means they have more time to scroll. Scroll. I think they call it doom scrolling. Right? Keep going through these things, right? I don't have that kind of time in my hands to go through that stuff. Do I? I have to because of business, but it's for business. It's not for pleasure. Whereas kids go on there and they're trying to measure themselves among society because society lives in social media. We can't let social media dictate our lives, and we've been saying that for a long time now. Studies say this, studies say that. Research has pointed out that more kids spend time on the screens, and therefore that goes down. Their social aspect goes down. They become more depressed. They have more anxiety. They can only handle things for 30 seconds at a time because that's all that these clips are. ADHD is through the roof in this country. It's because we start to care about little things, not the big things. Take our path off social media for a second, but it's also part of it. Fashion is another huge thing. What are kids wearing these days? On the field or off the field, right? Off the field, what are they wearing? What kind of brands are they wearing? Are they getting stuff from Louis Vuitton and Lululemon and, you know, or the sweet new pair of Nike Jordans, whatever's out there now these days, right? And then you have all the kids who are curious about what their fashion is on the field. Oh, it drives me insane when kids constantly are posting, when they're in college and they're like, hey, check out our fun fan pack. This is what we got. It's Christmas in fall, Christmas in July, Christmas in the spring, whatever the case may be. And they're showing off their new cleats. And it's like their hall. Their hall is what they call it, I think, right? Their lacrosse hall. I got this pair of turfs. I got this pair of cleats. And I have these pair of shorts. And I have this long sleeve. I got these sweet gloves. I have this hat. I have this coat. Oh, it's so warm. I got, the girls throwing off their Lululemon, crossbody bags with their school's, lacrosse on there. When did we care about who gets what? It's like a brag to me. I get it. I might be old school and old fashioned. No pun intended. We didn't do that when we were kids. We wouldn't do that when we were in college. Nobody cared. You got some stuff? Cool. You know what my life was like at a D3 school? Here's a pair of sweatpants. If you get holes in them, turn them in. We'll get you a new pair of sweatpants. But at the end of the year, you're turning it all back in anyways. My sweet sideline parka, that's getting turned in. If you want to keep it, you have to pay us $102. There wasn't anything for us to keep. We turned everything back in. Now everyone's throwing everything under the sun at them, maybe because there's more money in the NCAA these days. But I don't give a shit what you're wearing on the field. I care about how you perform on the field. If I'm watching a lacrosse game, I want to see how you're performing. Can you pass? Can you catch? Can you pick up a ground ball on a whim? Can you hit corners? Can you make sweet saves? Are you making the right outlets? Are you keeping your team together? I don't give a shit what you have on your body. I don't give a care what brand you're wearing. Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, New Balance. I don't care. We shouldn't care. Why is it so important? When did we pull out the measuring stick as to see who's got better gear and who doesn't? Again, scale back, bro. It's not about what you're wearing that makes the difference, that makes the person. It's what you're able to produce. Like I said, when I played in high school, we were lucky to get a set of jerseys, a pair of shorts, and an equipment bag. Anything else, we had to buy on our own. And guess what? Guess what happened to those jerseys? They got turned in at the end of the year. What happened to the shorts? You got to keep those. Team bags, where'd they go? Back into the storage. I get it. Times have changed. But again, we're worrying about the weirdest things. Trends is another one on my list. What's the new trending thing people are wearing? What are the new trends that people are doing? Like TikTok dances. Or, hey, try this challenge. Hey, try eating a block of cheese and see how far you go. Whatever the trends are these days, I just saw one for snow angels the other day on TikTok. I don't care about a snow angel in the winter. I'm in the snow all the time. I live in Michigan. I don't need to do a snow angel. I basically live in the snow. Another factor that drives kids stressed through the roof. FOMO. Fear of missing out. They fear that they can't be in with what everybody else is doing. That ranks very high on the list, from what I believe. Right? They got to be always doing what everybody else is doing. They need to be where everybody else is at. Hey, we're like here in Michigan, this past year, everybody went to the Zach Bryan concert in the University of Michigan. Okay, do you know how many people are packed in the University of Michigan football stadium on a football game day? 112,000 people. Now put a concert in the middle, and you had more people on the field. What numbers that go up to? Damn near 119,000 people. Do I want to enjoy an experience of 119,000 people and I can barely move, breathe? I have to go in the concourse area to just stretch my legs? Because you're crammed in there. I don't care about being in that venue. I can listen to Zach Bryan on Spotify, no problem. What's the difference being in a packed stadium versus just listening to him? I get it. Fans are fans. I get that part. I'm not discrediting that. Trust me, I've been to plenty of concerts in my day. Some are really good. But do I need to go to a crayon-packed house to say, yes, I was there with everybody else? And if you weren't, how bad do you feel because you couldn't get in? Morgan Wallen is coming to the University of Michigan as well next year. Or this year, I think. He's already sold out, I think, 2 nights. The 2 nights he's going to be in town. That's a lot of people. I don't feel like wasting my time to get there and going into a concert. Pain in my ass. So the fear of missing out. Also in that same category is bandwagoners. Jumping on the bandwagon of what everybody else is doing. Right? It goes back to trends. Right? Oh, if we're all wearing the same color shirt on Friday, then I got to do it. I got to do what everybody else is doing. Just like, well, if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? Probably not. Okay, what else we listen to? What we listen to and who we follow. What is the new technology trend? Right? Oh, I know there's 3 different things right there, but it's what we listen to. Oh, everyone's listening to country music now, so I have to listen to country music. Oh, everybody's listening to Christian music. I gotta listen to Christian music. Who do we follow? Hey, did you follow this person on social media the other day? You know, I get it. I'll be the first. Josh and Jace from Great Britain have come to visit Michigan this past 3 weeks. I jumped on that bandwagon. Yes, they're funny. They're amazing. They're great people. Yes, I jumped in it. But do I care if other people care if I'm following them? No, I don't. All right. And then what is the new technology trend? What is everyone using these days? Right? Moving into like the digital scene. Like who's got the new iPhones? And if you don't have the newest iPhone, are you even that cool anymore? Like if you don't have an iPhone 17, 18, 30, whatever we have now, you're not cool. Oh, you have an iPhone 8? Well, you can't hang with us because we have all iPhone 17, 1001. Oh, you have an Android? You can't even come talk to us because you don't know what we're talking about because we live in iPhone world. You go hang out with your Android friends. We can do so many cool things with our iPhones. You know, music profiles, apps. Oh, I got this app. Do you have this app? I can't get that app. Oh, you should get it. Well, you're really missing out. Thank you for making me feel bad because I don't have the cool app like you have. It's not about the apps, people. Oh, better yet, AI content creations. Oh my God, that's the latest. That is the latest fad. The number of even my own friends who get all these AI content creation things. They do all these funny videos. They put their face into this AI generator and they do some crazy dance and whatever the case may be. Okay, if you really have time to put that together, kudos for you. I don't have the time to even put that effort in, let alone do I have time to even scope out what the next new cool AI content app is out there these days. You might do, right? And it might be cool and it might be fun, whatever, and the cool things that you can do with the stuff. I'm not going to say it's not useful, but if you're just doing it just to be with it like everybody else, then again, we're talking about small things here, people. Okay, get into the lacrosse side of things, and just in general when it comes to sports and what you're going to be doing at the next level. So now we get into the section on my list that talks about kids who want to play Division I, whatever sport you're playing. Lacrosse, hockey, soccer, football, basketball, softball, you name it. And getting the big scholarship. Kids give way too much shit about getting a D1 scholarship. And the problem we have about that is that we're going to get into this in a whole nother topic later on. D1 or bust is what we're going to call it. But kids wanting to play D1, bro, sometimes you're just not able to play D1. Okay? I hate to tell you that. I know. I'm bearer of bad news sometimes. But it weighs on our consciences. It weighs heavily on our stress levels. It's what gives us anxiety. You want to play D1, you want that big scholarship, but what happens if you don't get it? Then what? Kids also give a shit about who's recruiting you. Hey, check out, this is who's recruiting me. Stony Brook's recruiting me. Lemoyne's recruiting me. Dartmouth is recruiting me. Ohio State's recruiting me. Who's recruiting you? Okay, well, I got one for you. Florida's recruiting me. Florida State's recruiting me. University of Clemson is recruiting me. Duke is recruiting me. How about that? And then you have your friend over here in the corner says, well, I got a bunch of D3 offers to sit and come play. I don't really have an athletic offer. Oh, sorry. Well, okay, my bad. Again, going back to not fitting in well. I don't give a shit who's recruiting you. You're going to go where you're going to go. And again, we're not going to get into the recruiting rabbit hole today. But again, that's a big, big factor. I even had one come up to me the other day and ask, am I even going to get recruited? What if I don't ever get recruited? I said, girl, you are a sophomore. Coaches aren't even allowed to talk to you right now. They can't offer you anything. That'd be a violation against NCAA policies and regulations. Wait till the summer when you're going into your junior season. Then they can come talk to you, and then you can find out who's actually recruiting you. And I guarantee you, you're going to get a few coaches that are going to recruit you. So why are we worrying about these things before they can actually come talk to you? I said this in another post or the other episode earlier, is that there aren't college coaches hanging around any youth tournaments or a tournament loaded with freshman players because they can't talk to them. They can they can watch all they want, maybe because they have a kid playing, but they're not there to recruit. I can tell you that right now. But don't fret if you haven't been talked to and you're not even a junior yet. But they worry about it. And if I don't go D1, then I've completely failed. That's a thought. I've heard that one too many times. What if I don't go D1? Then I've basically am a failure. Are we seriously using D1 as a measuring stick to determine our value and our worth and our ability to play? When you started playing the sport that you're playing, whether it's lacrosse, hockey, football, soccer, baseball, whatever, did you start off saying, I'm going to go play Division I ball? I'm going to be at a Division I school? No. You did it because it was fun. You enjoyed running around, kicking a soccer ball or throwing the lacrosse ball around, getting up and down, trying a new sport. You had fun. You loved doing that. And only did social media or friends or coaches or dads or parents say, you could play D1. Says why? Says who? Because they offer up athletic scholarships? Well, you're wrong there because D2 offers them up. And in some sports, NAIA also has athletic scholarships. It's not just D1. Is it because you expect your kid to be the elitist of the elite? We're not all going to be elite. We're not all going to be D1 caliber players. D1 coaches know what they're looking for. The goal should be to get into college, get a degree so that you know what you're going to do after college because lacrosse isn't life. So if you don't go D1, have you really failed? Got a few more on my list here that will drive kids nuts. Broadcasting their college commitments. Here we go, back to social media again. I like to verbally commit, I'm going to XYZ University. I'd like to thank so-and-so and this coach and this coach and that coach and my parents and God and everybody else. I get it, you're excited, and that's cool. I don't have a problem if you put it on social media, but we make a big deal about it. We really do, because we want to show off to everybody else that we've made a commitment. But what nobody does is then what kills me even more is when they come back later on, a year later, 2 years later, and they re-announce, hey, guess what? I'm transferring. I entered the portal. Now I'm going to try this again. We're at a new school now. God, I hate the transfer portal. That's another topic for another day. Okay. Where we attend college matters. That's another one. Who gives a shit where you go to school? As long as you're going there for the right reasons, who cares? I could go to Grace Bible College down the street because I really want to, get into the life of, Christianity, get into religion more. Who knows? Maybe I want to become a priest. Or I go to a different school. I just use RPI because it was on my list at one point. But they're an engineering school. I'm an engineer. I want to go to an engineering school. I'm going to go to RPI. They're a great engineering program, right? Who cares? I mean, you went to Division III school. Who cares? They had my degree. They had what I'm looking for. They met my criteria. That's why I'm going there. But apparently it matters to a lot of people, and it shouldn't. Same thing with what do we do in college? What degree are we going into? Business, liberal arts, ceramic engineering, project management. I mean, there's someone, marketing. Pick one. There's a million of them out there. Hell, they even have Taylor Swift classes at some schools. Oh, hell has frozen over, hasn't it? Anyways, I digress. And then last but not least on my list here, that really drives kids' stress and anxiety through the roof. How long? This is the one that goes back to the transfer portal. How long can we keep living the all-American lacrosse dream of playing until our eligibility runs out? The NCAA keeps moving that pendulum. First, you had 5 years to play 4. Now they're saying maybe you can play 5 years in 6 to include grad school. And then in club ranks, in the club world for lacrosse, they just came out with as long as you're still in school, you can still keep playing lacrosse. Your eligibility has no meaning, no bearing on our rules because college club is different than NCAA, which is true, which is 100% true. But like then for us older folks who remember the movie Van Wilder, you've been in school for 7 years and you're not a doctor. How is that possible? Because they just love the college lifestyle. At some point, people, you're going to have to grow up. I hate to tell you that. But these are the things that drive anxiety through the roof. Because, it boggles my mind. These kids just keep playing and keep playing and keep playing to extend their careers. I get it. For some, it's the end of the road. Once you get done with college, it's all over. But it's what you do after college is when the real world really begins. And that's when the fun really takes off. So let's get into the bigger picture a little bit, okay? So for those who know me or close to me, they know my story. 3 years ago, we're coming up on the anniversary day here shortly, where I almost took my life. It wasn't an easy decision because it was random. It wasn't something I had expected. I was on the east side of the state. I was driving back, and something I had thrown into my body that day that didn't agree or didn't jive with my anxiety. Didn't realize till later that there was an ingredient in this drink that I had that was a real activating agent with anxiety. And it caused me to have suicide ideations. And it wasn't something that I planned for that day. Hell, I haven't had those ideations since I was in college. And here I was at the time, 44 years of age, and I had these ideations again. Couldn't figure it out why. I started my day great. But halfway through the day, it changed. It turned. And on my way back from the east side of the state, I almost rolled my vehicle doing 140 miles an hour. And there was a lot going through my head that day. And I tried to stop it. And when I tried to stop it, they came on even stronger. And when I got back on the road, I was ready to do it. It was turn the wheel or grab my phone. And that day, I grabbed my phone. There was too much in my mind that day to think about the consequences. And then, and only then, did my bigger picture really come into focus. Back in college, I had 2 suicide attempts as well. Not going to get into those today. But I can tell you between the 3 attempts, I'm going to be honest with you, I've never believed more in God than I did 3 years ago. They say it all the time, God has a plan for all of us. And that day, he told me, it's not your time. Giggs, it's not your time to go. You need to stick around. You have a lot to live for. And I prayed to him in that car. Do I or don't I? And he told me to pick up that fucking phone and call 988. And I did. And if I hadn't, I wouldn't be here today talking to you. Yes, I believe in God. I'm a man of Catholic faith. I'm proud of that. I believe in him stronger now than I ever have my entire life. And I went to Catholic schools for 13 years of my life. But he has a plan for all of us. Know that. Whether you believe in him or not, he has a plan for you as well. And like I said, it wasn't until this 3rd attempt that my picture came into focus. And I never saw this picture more clear in my entire life. What was truly the most important things in my life that day, number 1 was God. Number 2, life. I need to be here on this planet to continue to keep spreading the word of what I'm doing today for goalies across the world and focus on mental health. Life is what's important. That is my number 2 right behind the man above. And 3 should be just as high as number 1, and that is family. That is family. And right before I made that call, the 2 things that entered my head was my kids. It was my kids that I put first in my head and said, I can't let them grow up without a father. I can't let them go through life wondering, why did Dad take his life? Why did he not come home that day? And I can't imagine my wife today trying to explain that, try to wrap her arms around that and her head around that and try to explain to the kids why Dad didn't come home. And to this day, I love my family more than I ever have before. The realization is when that big picture starts to take shape. And it did for me that day. So to this day, my big picture consists of those three elements: God, life, and family. And I will take that with me to the grave until the day comes. I was 44 years old. Why did I wait till then to form that? I'll never know. But it was a huge event in my life that made that happen. So I ask you, why wait? Form it now. You know what's important. And once you know what's important in your life, looking at life changes your perception on all that little shit I mentioned as contributing factors above. It's taking what's really important in your life. Think about that. D1 scholarships, getting recruited, or having the ability to play the sport that you love. So I'm going to ask you this. What's more important, your life or getting a D1 scholarship or playing D1? Playing in college more important to you and riding the bench for 4 years, or just playing at all? I can tell you that right now. That's easy. I'd rather play than ride the bench for 4 years. This isn't high school anymore, at least not in college. Or what's more important? Having a pair of Air Jordans more important than having a solid family as your rock to support you in times of need? Answer that question. And what happens when you get to college and you blow out your knee or suffer your 4th or 5th concussion and the doctor comes in and says, sorry, you can either keep playing and possibly lose your life or end your sports career and continue to live life to its fullest? What are you going to fall back on? I had the same issue happen my first year coaching at the University of Michigan. One of my goalies, my starting goalie, had a 4th concussion in 2 years. Doctor said, you can either keep playing and potentially one more is going to take you out, lose your life altogether because it's that severe, or you quit playing lacrosse and live your life and go to med school like he wanted to. Well, he chose the other. He chose to follow his path of medicine and got into med school at the University of Michigan, which isn't easy to do, by the way. So what are you going to fall back on if you can't play anymore? You suffer that career-ending knee injury. If you can answer that question with, it's all right, soccer, lacrosse, hockey, football, whatever, isn't my end game. I still have my sights set on being a doctor or an accountant, and that's what I need to focus on. Hey, if you can answer it that way, great. You're going to do great in life. You know what you want. It's not all about what you're playing. But if your body is able to play a different sport after college, maybe one less physical, maybe like golf or pickleball, possibly slow pitch softball, then cool. You still will maintain that competitive edge no matter what, and you're going to have fun doing it. We aren't all going to be professionals in the sport that we grew up playing. So we might as well enjoy life while we can, because the sport you chose in college isn't going to be the sport you probably play forever. So let's reset the table. What is it that is truly important to us in life? What is our big picture? When a loved one or good friend is taken from you too early, how do you want to live the rest of your life? Remember who put us on this earth. He who has a plan for all of us, whether you are a believer or not, is God. Like him or not, he does love all of us and is in our lives, whether you know it or not. He carries the burden of your life in his hands. Remember, he gave up way more than you will ever know. So I ask you, what is important in your life? The new Apple iPhone or having your mom and dad who love and support you? Doing everything in your power for a D1 scholarship or just being able to play the sport that you love? What's more important, doing a TikTok trending viral video and increasing your likes on social media, or knowing that God's in your corner, watching over you, deciding whether to take you now or later? Don't think for a minute that I knew these when I was your age, 14, 15, 17, 18, or even 21 or 25. It took me to the age of 44 to realize this bigger picture. Everyone is different. You will realize what's more important to you when the time comes. But the sooner you know your bigger picture, the sooner you're going to decrease your levels of stress, which in turn will create less anxiety in your life and will help you avoid depression and will help you live a happier life. So why are we stressing over the small things? As kids, why are we stressing over the things that bear no weight on our lives? In 15 years, no one is going to give a shit if you play D1, D2, or D3 sports in college. Just that you played a sport in college. They also don't give a shit where you played at. They may not even care at all, and only like you for who you are and not what you used to be. But the real question, why do we care at all what people think in the first place? Your life is your life. I am not here to tell you what kind of life you should lead. But the sooner you realize what's really important in your life, those other factors that you think are important are really meaningless. Over the last 25 plus years of being a goalie coach, I've had at least 5 students who saw the bigger picture prior to college, or as they were preparing to enter the real world. They chose to put country in the bigger picture and join the military. If you didn't know, the military basically sets the tone and provides you your bigger picture, and that they always put God first, country second, family third. That's the military way of life. I've talked a lot about my bigger picture today, how you should develop your bigger picture. But now, I need you to take some time, 5-10 minutes or more, and think about, what does your big picture look like? What's in your picture frame? I will never forget mine. It's tattooed on my left arm. Those who know me have seen it. I'll forever be grateful for what and who I have in my life today, especially the 988 operator who saved my life 3 years ago. I never thought I'd be here today talking to you about what's important in life. And yes, we are all different, but your picture is your picture. I want to thank you for listening to this episode today. And I hope this helps you with trying to figure out your life and what keeps the most important things in your windshield. I didn't mean to get deep on you today, but when you understand it, everything else has little importance on how you live your life. Understand, again, the bigger picture is what's important in your life. That is what you care about. That is why you continue to live day after day. And if you need assistance in helping with that, pointing out those things in your life that are important, call me up, email me. I will be glad to sit down with you on a phone, on a Zoom call, and point out the things that are important to you. Help you see the light, because there's light there for everybody. There's plenty of it to go around. We don't need to live in a cave. Folks, these are my opinions and my opinions alone, and no one else's. And whether you agree or disagree on my factors that I mentioned earlier today, doesn't matter to me, because I live my life how I live my life. But if you think I'm completely off, let me know. Email me at goaliesmatter@gmail.com, and let's talk about it. If you want to talk about what's important in your life, email me. I'll love to talk about it with you. Anyways, this is your life, so why don't you make the most of it while you're still alive? Because we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. So let's find the good in our lives, and let's build off of it. Thank you. We're out. Just know, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues and needs immediate attention, call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are in immediate danger, please call 911 or your local emergency number. Help is available.